there. So once you're topped out there, then all you get at that point would be the cost of living. So your question's valid. I'm just sharing with
I
you.
mean, if it's a point of staying with quote industry standard, then why wouldn't it be, if you're, haven't started, you're not getting any raise. Cause we keep giving raises to spots we don't even have people for, which that's cool. But then why wouldn't it be, if we're giving 3%, step 1 is 1%, step 2 is 2%, step 3 is 3%.
Well, I think it's more of looked at that the 3%, are we doing it as just a yearly increase or is it attached to merit? It's attached to merit.
To neither. It's almost like a cost of living.
So
is
then
the
it's
way I would
cost of
understand.
living,
Right,
so
which is
every place I work, that's how do the steps go here? You get your raises in what years? How do the steps go?
We have 2 steps. We have start, step 1, step 2, and done. So it's
is that
quick.
at 3 or
Wendy,
4?
you wanna?
Yeah.
So
Once a
every
year?
May, once a year, if you'll go up a step. It's not based
So your
off of
first 2
merit
years.
Until you max out. How many?
Until you max out, and right now you start, Eric was right, then you have one increase,
Yeah.
another increase, and then that third year you are topped out.
So your thought is only consider the cost of living based upon after the top out. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay.
Because we gave, if you look at a 5-year history, I mean, we had to make a drastic move last year to bring some departments, and 2 years before that to bring water up. So we had to make some big moves.
Sure.
And then we just keep, we're hemorrhaging money, and we're not even at full staff. So if we can choke back
You don't pay
a
those
little
positions. You're not. So the positions that aren't filled, you don't pay those.
Correct, but-
but you keep the position itself, even though it's a
Well, you
placeholder.
allocate the funds.
It would continue.
Yeah.
In case you'd have to
If
budget.
you
but
hire
there-
someone,
If you have to hire someone midstream, you still have to budget for that. So,
So
that's-
Eric,
yeah.
in your example, if you're only giving the percentage to the ones that top out, does that final column keep increasing, and that's the only one that increases?
Yep. That's rewarding people to stay.
Okay.
And letting the people that stay, if I'll be honest with you, if it's just the top, that's a lot less money than everybody. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know all of them personally, but the people that we have that are topped out, I would give them 5%. Because I feel that the job that they're doing is 5%. But if I've got somebody that hasn't proven to me that they're gonna have longevity and excel at their job, why am I throwing extra money at them for mediocrity?
Should we
Well,
give it a percent,
well-
percent and a half?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if we wanna do everybody, do 1%, 2%, 3%.
how much are the steps?
Usually
A
a
dollar?
dollar,
I
but
mean,
well,
it's
not
all-
even a dollar, so if you
I
look
mean-
at some of them, they're 50 cents.
Yeah.
I mean,
Some of them are
I'm not
75.
staying somewhere for 50 cents a year, in a professional setting. I'm not.
That's why
It's not. You got to give them something. Cost of living is standard. That's just because prices go up every
Right.
year on everything. So you're going to give them 50 cents or a dollar and say, please stay. You can't create longevity that way.
And that's, I think, where the steps come in, at least from our regard, is that it's a longevity anchor, if you will, in that classification. So if you top out, it almost gives you the motivation, hey, I'm not going to get any more other than cost of living. And cost of living, for the most part, and I know that we had those conversations earlier, that it's not always equal across the board. But what was the current 2.87 or close to 3%?
It's
Is
like
that
3.
so? That
Three
was
is
kind
pretty
of
standard.
that's almost kind of keeping pace with things. When you look at that, when you look at those steps, that is almost like your anchor of, well, now once I'm stepped out, I need to have motivation to go to the next step. Or what is that? So you have the motivation to go from, the street worker 1 to a street worker 2. And if we don't have those classifications, maybe that's something we should also look at.
That's a good idea.
So are you saying that cost of living for certain employees should be 5% and others should be 3%? Okay.
No, what I was saying was if we are only applying the percentage to the top out pay, it would be easier to digest a 4 or 5% increase than we're paying a guy. We're going to increase somebody that's been here a day or 2 days or 3 days because he's going to get So it's not that these people would get more, but we would have more to give if it would only go to the last step versus the last step and on down.
So are you looking at somebody when you're saying we're gonna give them $1, maybe after they've been here 2 days or 3 days? Let's say somebody starts at, I don't know, let me get a.
That was gonna be my question. Do
Well,
we have
I
a
think-
schedule
Yeah,
where
there
if you
should be a
start at a
schedule.
certain, yeah, there
Yeah, 'cause
should
after
be.
2
I
days,
think I
a
know
dollar
where you're
Yeah,
increase.
you're
going.
not, yeah.
Well, we
But I
give
think what
3%.
it is if you take somebody who is an hourly employee
Mhm.
and they start out at, let's say, $31.75 an hour. They've been here 2 months. It's now May, that whole chart is now moving, so now they're getting that full raise with everybody else, cause we no longer have a position at $31.75. It's now been given that raise. I think that's what Eric's trying to get at. Am I making
Yeah,
sense?
yeah, absolutely.
Why do we do that? If we hire someone 2 days before the raises, they get the raise?
Yeah,
They
that's
would
what
come
I'm
in
trying
and
to-
need to
that's
change
what I'm
that.
trying
We
to-
need to change that.
That's what I'm trying to break.
Oh, we
And
need
it's-
to change, that
it's been
needs to
going
be
on-
changed.
It's been
That-
going on for years.
That rule, there should be something in there, you have to start by X day to get that raise. That's standard at companies.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
You don't get a
Hold on.
bonus
Oh,
at
wait.
places?
Dustin, I don't want to step on your toes, but that's not budget, and this is only a meeting for budget. That's the
What-
book.
But this is budget,
Well,
cause I
I
have
just-
to know
I
what
just-
I'm budgeting.
Are we
We're
good-
talking
are we
about
good, Bill?
this.
Because we're talking about changing
Yeah, I think
why
that's-
people
No,
get
I'm not
hired.
saying we need to change that right now,
Right.
I'm
Well,
saying that's
that's
what
what I'm saying.
should be,
We
that
just-
shouldn't happen.
I
That's
just want
all
to
I'm
make sure we
saying.
stay on the line of what the
And
meeting was
maybe we
called
can
for.
discuss that at the cow.
I mean, ma'am,
Yeah,
you can
that's
roll
fine.
your
I
eyes
didn't
at me all
roll
you
my
want.
eyes.
Yes, you did. I'm just trying to protect a new person.
I
And
think
it's,
he's perfectly
I
capable
think-
of
thank you.
doing
Hey,
it
let's
Thank
just
you.
quit the argument.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Let's move on.
yeah, cause we really don't wanna start
So
going
if,
into
if we're
that.
gonna go down that direction, I don't know if that's something that we're able to accomplish now for
No.
the budget. If that's something that we need to, address and look at how we do those, I don't disagree that we need to consider doing that in subsequent cows. Eric, do you agree or disagree with that point? If that's something, how are we gonna look at that now? And that's probably why it didn't go anywhere before, is because now we're talking budget, we're talking changes in how we do the book, is that correct?
it depends. If you give everybody 3%, now you don't do anything. If you just add it to the top tier, then you go back and change that after the fact, or however you guys want to do it. But I looked at the difference from the year before I started and the last 2 years, and it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot.
I
So
know
if
we're
you're
talking
look-
about raises with reviews and merit raises as well. Are we still thinking about that somewhere along the line? Or are we just gonna give everybody a percentage? I mean, I think we ought to be able to at least do reviews once a year.
I think what we have is the cost of living raise, in what was submitted, the 3%, 2.5%. I think that's gonna be a different way in how we structure everything else.
Yeah, but just, that doesn't.
So for
take-
budgeting purposes, we're okay with what I have, cause like I told you in my email, I took the top dollar and I budgeted everybody's wage. Yes, they're not gonna make that, but that's how I have
Right.
to do budget
But
to cover all the expenses.
These are not going to affect until May, correct?
May, so we
So
still
we
have time
Okay.
to work out.
Okay.
I just.
Okay.
for
And we
budget
can,
purposes-
right?
We can,
Oh yeah,
yes.
this is just the allocation.
Right.
Correct,
Right.
and if we would need to move money in the end of the
Okay.
year, we could do that. Yes, we will be fine, so we need to get through this, cause we
Correct.
only have
Yeah,
that
that's
hour.
true, yes.
Yeah.
But-
The only one concern I have with this issue is instead of the 3-year is to back it down to a 2-year. What my concern is we go over cycles, not only of council members changing, but a potential change for mayor, at any point in time in the future. So if we look at a 2-year window instead of a 3-year window, I mean, I appreciate looking forward, but I don't wanna relinquish any opportunities for new council members, a new mayor down the road to have in what they would subsequently.
I guess,
do.
or some even number.
Right.
As long as it's an
so,
even number.
So I think if we look at, now we're looking at 26, so every even year, so every other year, this is something we should look at, if that seems to be appropriate. Okay. All right. Are we okay with that? I'm with the percentages, with the cost of living, the 3% and then 2.5%. Is there any issues with those two percentages as Wendy has them submitted for these 2
For
years?
budgeting
for
purposes.
budgeting purposes.
No.
And then we can readdress how we structure those and maybe we'll, okay.
So
If you guys wanna submit that.
3% was cost of living, the 2.5 is the
Would
step,
be, it would be the
The next year.
next year.
the next year
So it
cost
would
of
be
living.
2026 would be 3%, 2027 would be 2.5%
Okay,
for the
gotcha.
cost of living.
And the
then-
steps are standard.
And the steps at this
Okay.
point is standard, and I think, again, what, to Eric's point, that's something we can bring up and have discussion, does that work?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go, I don't know if everyone had an opportunity to print off pages, I have one, that came in email, I printed 2026 proposed permanent budget, starting with the general fund. And basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go page by page. We won't go line by line unless there's specific questions or any concerns. Hopefully, so first of all, I had an opportunity to meet with the mayor and Wendy, was able to get some context on those things. Hopefully, if anybody had their opportunity, they did. I appreciate your time that you guys spent. I know we took way more than I anticipated, so I appreciate that.
Is that next week?
This is actually from last year. This is a 25 that I was just doing for comparison. Okay.
Then, well, I'm if you want.
You're welcome.
So on the first page, it illustrates the general fund, starting with salaries at the top there. So if you're able to look at that, is there any questions, any issues, any concerns that stand out there that anyone has on the proposed budget here?
I had a question, but I think you answered it, cause I was like, the 75 to 88 is just for allocation and all of that, so, yeah, my
That's
question got answered, thank you.
I had a question for Wendy, and she was able to make time for me too. And so, just for everyone else's awareness, with this, one of the things she explained to me that alleviated a lot of my concerns was that the proposed numbers are not necessarily, as she indicated with salary, what people or what will be charged to any of these accounts necessarily. It's just putting the amount of money that we have, you know, allowed to us to budget in different buckets.
Correct.
So,
Makes sense.
And the only two things that I had that stood out was the two positions that we have for police sergeant. That's why that figure was different than it would have been for last year when we didn't have that. And then the police cruisers, we had two of them fully equipped last year, and we don't have that for this year. Those are the only two things that stood out for me.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know if we wanna not buy another police cruiser, because if we don't, I know we got two last year, one was out of a crash.
Right.
But when we tried that before, it got into a cost prohibitive because they started to get old. So I just don't know, I think we should stay on, adding, and maybe we do, an unmarked, so we don't have all of that money, and that would allow for whether a chief's car or a class car that would keep miles off of it.
So
Can I
you
interject?
can't, I was just gonna ask if
Yeah.
there was any
I spoke with the
suggestion with
chief,
police
and
yes.
since we did get those two new cars, we are going to put his in the lineup, and he's going to drive the oldest vehicle, because he's not really out a lot.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what the plan was.
How many
And plus-
miles does the oldest one have on it, do you know?
The oldest one, it's like 200. I think it's like 200.
And do
So
we
it's
have,
gonna be needing replaced.
do we have a replacement cycle that we typically abide by or that we look at? I know there's some
Well, we
agencies
have been
that-
doing one every year, but since we had two new cars this year, one due to a crash, and then we had a new one, then I feel,
to just skip this year
Yeah,
to
that's-
kind of
that's how I
balance
felt it.
those two things
and I
out.
talked with the chief about it. And another thing is like, we don't have anywhere to put all these vehicles.
Right.
And, we have some in the garage now, but what can fit in there? We don't have anywhere to put them, so they're out in this weather, and so, and if it needs to be looked at later, we can always come back. Like I said, this is just,
And to fully outfit a vehicle, it's about probably around $80,000.
How long does that process take from, like, if we determined we needed one close to the end of the year?
It can take a while to get it fully equipped, and that's
5
if they
months or
have
so.
a vehicle on the lot.
It was a 6-month wait just to pars.
Correct.
The last one we actually scheduled to be outfitted before we even had it. So
So,
we get in line, and then let's say Columbus or Franklin County or the Highway Patrol needs stuff done, we'll get bumped down.
okay,
I mean, because obviously they're gonna take care of somebody that does 1,000 cars versus somebody that does one a year.
sure.
Well, then I do agree. I do think I mean, if that's how long it takes to get one, and he's at 200,000,
Push the budget.
I mean, do we want to be running the risk of we're waiting until, we
Short
absolutely, exactly, we absolutely need it, and then we don't have it?
What's our total vehicles we have now? I know we're
I
trying to
think we
balance
have
out,
6.
and that's one that's the high mileage one that the chief is.
That's the
gonna be utilized.
2017.
So most operational is 5. Is that correct?
No, they're driving
So
all
the oth-
6.
so
Yeah,
the
the
oth-
driving
6th
all
one
6.
just got put
Okay.
into place.
Okay. All right. So we have 6 total, and they're all operational. Okay.
Well, it'd be a good idea to budget for one.
We have
If
2 officers,
if
sometimes
we
3.
if we have any,
So some of them sit
Yeah,
a shift. They
Yeah.
just rotate who drives
Right.
them.
Correct.
right. That's what I'm saying. We have 2, sometimes on one night we have 3 out.
So there's 3 other cars then sitting.
Okay.
Okay, I guess
Makes me
that
feel
gives.
better.
I thought all 6
Yeah.
of them
No.
were getting
Okay.
drove all the time. That's why I was
No.
like, well, shoot, we need a
Does
car.
the chief
then.
drive his home or no?
No.
No,
Okay.
All 6 of them are probably driven within a day or 2
Yeah.
because they do rotate.
Yeah.
You know,
Which, yeah, that's
Which is
fine. Yeah.
smart
Yeah.
to do to rotate.
I just didn't want it to be where we're left carless.
Yeah.
Where somebody doesn't have a vehicle to
I mean,
drive.
that is one thing that we do want to be prudent. So I do like the point that we do want to be proactive, but understand that we allocated what would in essence happen this year last year. Right. So if we're going to have a year that we planned on missing one, this would be the year to do that, and then get back on the one a cycle beginning next year. Good.
Okay.
Any other? Thank you for that. Okay, page 2.
okay. The only thing I do have a comment on this one, the streets department has asked me to increase the operating supplies and material, account number 1,154.20, so it's the 3rd line down by $20,000. They're wanting to get some new signage and just beef up what we have around here. We're talking about some snow emergency signs and just some different things, so they did ask for that to increase by 20,000.
Are those various size or the large ones that we've seen for different events?
No,
Is it
just-
various types of things or
Mhm.
just okay. I was trying to if it was those temporary ones or if in my mind at first I was going with signage along like the roads and streets
No,
like this.
I would say it's so we can become compliant with what we're supposed to have with snow emergency to make it enforceable. We're not there right now. I would say they've realized that and now they're going to put signs to keep us in compliance with what ODOT standard is, which is like, I think every 150 feet, don't quote me on that. But you're supposed to have one every so often. And we have one at the beginning of each block, I believe.
Where would you get that extra $20,000? Which
The
bucket
general
would you take
fund,
that
it
from?
comes out of the general fund, out of that transfers out, remember where I told you that
Yeah.
final bucket?
Okay.
What is that? What page is that on?
Oh, it's at the end
At
of
the very, okay, I
Yeah.
can.
end
End of
of
that
the-
section.
You'll see it here in a
Okay.
little bit.
Yeah, it'll come at the end of page 6.
Wendy, do we have a maintenance agreement on our generators and stuff to where they're checked
For
on a
water,
regular basis?
that's water and sewer.
We do have that. I just see that they asked for maintenance, and I thought
We
we'd
do.
have it.
We had 2 generators, we now have 4, so they're gonna be serving all
Adding
4.
those. Okay.
Any other questions on page 2?
I don't have line numbers. So the cell phone from 415 to 1,200. I mean that's triple the
He just
amount.
got a cell phone like in September of last year. So this is now for a full year.
Hmm.
It's like $100 a month.
Oh, for
For the zoning inspector,
okay.
yeah, that's the zoning inspector position. And again,
The
that might be
legal-
budgeted a little high.
And the legal fees, and then the contractual services, the mowing and tree removal.
Yep, the accounting and legal fees, we have a court case right now with someone that lives over in,
Oh yes, yeah.
Walker Point.
Okay,
So we'll be paying some of those. And then the mowing and tree removal, we didn't really do any of that last year, but the year before we did, so I'm assuming Jim will probably go out and look at trees again to see if they're impeding anywhere, and we might have to hire a tree company to come and cut some trees.
Anything else, Megan?
On this one, I have a couple more updates
On page 3?
on page 3.
Okay, everybody on page 3?
So the very first section is the streets department. Under the repairs and maintenance, equipment and miscellaneous use, 1,620,439.
Wait, where are you at?
On the very first section there, where it says repairs and maintenance, the third one up from the bottom of that first little section, account number 1,620,439.
Oh, got it, gotcha, thank you.
We put 5,000 in there. I've been asked to increase that to an additional 20,000, just because of everything that we just dealt with this winter storm. We are in need of spending some more funds than what we had budgeted for. So, they've asked for an additional 20,000 there. And then the other one is there was a little bit of miscommunication between Nancy, Dave, and I. The document that I had for the streets department did not include a new plow truck. But apparently there was an ask for a new plow truck, so the capital outlay, the 1,625.90, I would need to increase that for another $140,000.
That's how much one of those trucks cost?
Yes, fully equipped.
Yeah, I would say
And
that's
what type of truck, I mean, do we know I don't know,
I-
I know sizes, are we talking just like a bigger pickup truck, or are we
No,
talking
it is
for
a-
a large, full-size, like,
It's got a dump
2-ton?
truck.
Okay,
I don't know exactly the
Okay.
size. It's sort of like the one. It's like the one that we have.
okay,
But I
the larger
can't-
of the three, the larger of
Yes.
the, okay.
Yeah, I don't know the exact size.
With that, if I remember correctly, and I have to make sure I go back to my notes, where I have that, is that related to also, including the brine?
That's
equipment
why the
that's included?
$80,000 was in there was for the brine.
Gotcha, okay.
This is an additional
So this is on top of this, so this would
140,000.
be 320, is that correct?
220.
Or two, yeah,
220,
sorry, sorry,
yeah.
I added too many ones, thank you.
And I'll send you guys an updated one
Okay.
once we get
Thank
through this.
I know that there had been some mention at the last meeting of like updating or going through the grant process for some brine equipment
doing
and
that
changing
now.
the system. If we were to get approved for that, would that kind of offset some of these expenses
Yes.
here?
Yeah, that 80,000, the 70,000 that we said in there for the brine just wouldn't be spent. And it
Okay.
would go back into my black bucket, like I told you, my black kettle of money.
Yeah, yeah.
It would go back in there to go out for next year.
Yeah, okay.
Just picture up on it.
I got a lot of those. The only other thing on this page, again, with the disaster that we had with the snow, the street cleaning, snow and ice removal, 1,630,396. I need to increase that an additional 15,000.
For what?
Because we just spent the 10,000 already.
Oh, okay. Just buying salt, huh?
No, we ended up having to get a contractor to come out and plow for us because our snow plows broke down.
And so do we have a term contract with a snow removal company for that, or is that, like,
Working on
are we
it.
getting that, okay, that's what I was wondering. The only thing I had notes on here was the salary, the full-time personnel, that was new, so that was added. There's a training section that was new,
Yes.
to add some potential training for the folks there. And do you want to mention on this one for the street project towards the bottom?
Oh, yes, thank you.
Can you give a little
That's
context
the
on that?
Belshizer
Okay.
project. When it first came in, it was like 500,000. Now I think it's up to over 800,000. So a portion of it will come out of our general fund street, and then the other portion will come out of the actual street fund. So you'll see an additional $650,000 budgeted out of the actual street fund. If there's money left over there, we could do maybe another small project.
Gotcha. Any questions on that page there?
No.
Concerns? Okay. Page 4, still under general fund. This is mayor and administrative offices. this is the portion there, Wendy, correct me if I'm wrong, that the salary for the village administrator, that's a portion, did you correct me,
paid-
is it out of three
He's
different
paid out of
evenly?
general fund,
Okay.
water fund, and sewer fund, same with mine and same with Paula's.
And then we had, there was, what's different from last year, a couple of increases, that we had that were minor. One was the medical and hospitalization that we had mentioned.
But that's for insurance, correct?
Correct, yep, yep. Any other questions on page 4? Concerns?
Nope.
Okay. Page 5, general fund, legislative and council activities.
Excuse me.
Huge.
Oh, sorry, I don't mean to backtrack.
Nope, that's okay.
I was
Page
just, like,
4.
looking. So the other professional and technical services, does that include like the new web, like
Yes.
the website people? And is there anywhere in here about the
Comprehensive plan.
yes.
Yes, there is.
That would also come out, that's actually what would come out of that is the comprehensive. No, that would come out of the.
There was
capital.
No,
another
that's,
one.
there's,
Also, it's the
plan- it's on the
comprehensive
next
plan is the
page.
next one.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's on the next
Yeah,
page.
this
Okay,
is
but
the
that
website.
is
This
the,
is
Website
the
and
website.
IT.
but that's the website.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Website and IT.
Okay.
So then on this, on the planning consultant's comprehensive plan, 75,000 is set aside.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I see that. Yes. Okay.
So there were 2 of them that, if you can, in the middle there, there's accounting and legal fees and engineering services that took significant increases there. Wendy or Mayor, is there
Just
any?
placeholders, just because we just don't know what's coming up for this year.
Okay.
And I'd rather have it than not.
Okay. Okay. And to be fair, correct that our previous village administrator did a lot of engineering services. That was his. Is that correct? So some of that, we were the beneficiary of that position. So that's in case.
So this engineering service that's in here doesn't have anything really to do with like the developments. So the
Okay.
developments, they actually pay a review fee. So our housing development fund is sort of like an in and out fund. That's where the developer will pay for review for the engineer, and we just pay them out of the development fund. This would be anything like if council would ask for something on a walk path or something that's not anywhere else within the budget that you could use the money for.
There was one that stood out at the bottom here under Mayor's Court for other contractual services that wasn't previous.
So a couple different years we've looked at Mayor's Court software. The one that we've looked at the most has been the Baldwin Group, but even with the amount of sites and cases that we see, we still don't really feel that we want to get into that because it just seems like so much money for the little bit that we would use it. So it's pretty much a placeholder in case we'd find time to look to see if there's any other
Another
software.
option. Okay.
Did the prosecutor price go up? Or is that dependent upon how many cases?
You got it.
Huh.
Increases.
Yeah, how do we figure that? Like, that's more than twice what we spent last year. So when you're going through this and you're like, okay, we spent 20,000, say we do 2 times the amount of cases, you know, we're looking at 40,000. Like, how is 50,000, like, how are we picking that number?
It's an estimation. Because, you know, if you send cases down to Circleville, you have to pay for the travel to Circleville. You have to pay for them to be at Circleville defending us. Sometimes some of these go above and beyond our monthly fee that we are charged. So right now, when you get a bill from Bill's office, it's Mayor's Court and anything he does just for the village, looking at legislation, phone calls, and that sort of stuff. If we'd have a case that would be bigger than that, it would have to come out of this area. I mean, you could end up with a bigger case.
So, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Wendy, I had similar concerns about a lot of the percentage increases over what we spent last year. But you have to think about it from the perspective of we're kind of comparing side by side what we spent and then what we could spend.
Right.
So we're approving the credit limit, and if say we went over that 50,000, then we would have to meet again to approve
Yeah,
an
I can't
adjustment.
go
Money
over
transfer,
the
right.
50,000.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's why maybe she has to allocate the money somewhere, and I think maybe that's why we're aiming kind of high on some of those.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I get the premise of it. I understand that. I just, it's what ifs.
We can reduce it.
And
I think some of these are very high what ifs.
And
I'll
Like
be
I'm,
honest, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
My first year, I felt the same way, but then once I understood that just because it's allocated to that, it doesn't mean that if it has to go somewhere else, we can't resolution in there.
right.
So I would rather have way too much and have a true idea of what our unencumbered numbers are than think we've got 900,000 because we went low and we only got 600,000 if we go to those high numbers. So
Right.
I just to save you all the headache that I went through, don't get hung up on these initial numbers this first year because that doesn't mean it's going to be spent. And the practice, there's no policy, but the practice is administration brings it to council before they do a big expenditure, even if they don't have to. So as long as that continues, these numbers really are just to get something on the books for the state, and then we come back and we tidy them up, I guess.
And that's why some of these, you know, any new ones are ones that kind of, what are we hitting new? And these types of things, if there's some that are extraordinarily high, what are those for? So I think that's, in my mind, when I was going through this process, is saying, hey, look, the kind of the red flag thing. So, but yeah, that one,
Like I
Have
guess
you-
I'm thinking like for me personally, like I'm gonna keep this and I'm gonna look at this because this is what we spent. I'm curious what was budgeted. Do you know what I mean? Like
What's that?
last year.
yeah.
Like
And
we
that,
spent 20,000.
unfortunately, Wendy
Oh,
Wendy was
thank
able, Wendy was
So
able to
we-
provide. I asked Wendy, and she was
Okay.
able to provide that one. That's
We
what-
have
Yeah.
that. We get that every month,
Right,
actually.
Yep.
Yeah, we
Well,
get that every
I
month.
meant the budget
Well, month-
for last year, like the full budget
Yeah,
from
it says
last year.
final
Yeah.
budget,
That's the-
revenue, budget
yeah.
balance.
You get it
We get it
every
every month.
That's your monthly reports that you'll get.
Yeah.
And I did this one because I wanted to look exact. I wanted to see.
Yeah, that's
side
what
by
I'm
side
curious
that-
because I'm
that-
like, we're budgeting this, and it's like, how much did we budget 50,000? Like, I'm not looking right now, but like, did we budget 50,000 last year and only spent 20,000? Because then I'm also kind of thinking at the same time, if we do that year after year, and we're seeing year after year we're not spending that, at some point, like I think we should start to get a better real idea and lower it. That's I guess
Yeah,
my
and that'll probably be a grasp. I think what Eric's
yeah.
mentioning that after a couple,
Yeah,
2 or 3
yeah.
of these, we'll start.
Yeah.
Okay, yep. So we got 20
Sorry,
minutes.
yeah.
Let's. All right. Next page I have here is general fund under fiscal officer. This will be page 6. Is there any questions, issues, concerns on this one that stood out to anyone? The only one that I noticed in the under lands and buildings was there was 2 funds, 730-349 and 730-392, if I'm correct. Many of those were split, correct?
Yeah,
You added.
yeah.
Okay,
Last
separate
year
those
I
out.
did not have a repair and maintenance. I only had buildings and other structures, so the money that it looks like was spent in repairs last year was actually under the buildings and other structures.
And the reason this amount is up to 150 and the one that ends in 349 is we need to replace the police, the code thing for the police door. We also want to put in some bulletproof glass up where Paula sits because we have had issues in here with people throwing stuff at her. And it just happened last week again, so yeah, we need to be proactive in this climate that we live in.
So actually, those two need to be flip-flopped. The 150,000 needs to go under the repairs and maintenance, and the 30,000 needs to go up to the buildings and other structures.
Okay, so switch those two.
Yeah, I have those flip-flopped.
Okay.
So that's why it's such an increase
Okay.
in there.
Is there enough in there for new chairs?
Do we need new chairs?
Last year, everybody wanted new chairs. I didn't know.
I think we're good.
Yeah, Bill needs one. He needs a lazy boy.
We need him a folding chair.
Any other questions on page 6? Any other issues?
I'm here for you, Bill.
Page 7
Thanks,
here
Jay.
is the end of the general fund. two things. One, their auditing services. Wendy, if you wanna,
We get audited every 2 years. We were not audited last year, so that's why for 2026's budget, there's 15,000, so they'll budget 24 and 25 this year. We get audited every 2.
Okay, so
So
we got
1 year you'll
audited
see
in
nothing.
2024.
Correct.
So on here, that's why it's
Correct.
open.
That's with the county auditor,
And this is the state audit.
state auditor.
Mhm.
Okay.
So that transfers out number will change with the corrections, the additions that I asked for.
all right, any other pages at the end of the general fund? Okay. Special revenue fund page, this will be 8.
That 650,000 is the other half of the Belshazzar.
And the operating supplies and materials, that's new on that one. Is there anything specifically that any context on that?
No, so let me explain these several little accounts and might answer your questions. So when you do this budget, each fund, of course, gets to spend the money. I appropriate everything that we are allowed to spend. I don't put anything in the back closet, so then don't put it out here. If you get to know me, I'm as transparent as they come. So for the transportation special revenue fund, we were allowed to appropriate $1,062,788.06. I just filtered that into those 4 buckets. Nothing really except for the streets project is the biggest one. The rest of them I just sort of filled here and there. Same thing with the state highway, with the parks and rec, permissive motor vehicles. They're all the same. I budgeted the exact dollar that they allowed us to budget. So that's why some of the numbers look extremely high. It's because that's what we are allowed to budget.
That's what's in the fund.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's in the fund along with what they expect to take.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's why some of them, like the parks,
So you just put them there as placeholders to
Yes.
make the line items
Yes.
even and out, okay,
Yes.
okay, perfect,
And the same for page 8, right? All the way
Correct.
through. Okay.
okay.
correct. Except for the housing fund, that's the one where I was talking about developers make deposits into inspection fees and retainer fees. That money is spent out back to engineers, and some of the money is retainers. So when the developer asks for anything left over back, that will be coming out of that housing development fund.
Okay, special revenue fund to continue, this will be page 10.
This is the TIF, and please don't ask me to explain it, because it's all a guesstimation. Because I don't know, you never know what you're getting year to year, you know, you get a payment twice a year. The ones that we have to pay back are the K-Nova TIF, Van Trust TIF, and the Foxfire TIF. Pasuti also has a reimbursable TIF, however, they have not submitted anything for payment. So these are just pretty much guesstimations on the permanent budget side. Chestnut Commons and Scioto Crossing, those are all money that comes to the village. We make one payment towards our water loan and one payment towards our sewer loan out of those 2 TIF dollars, because everybody in those developments benefits from water and sewer, so we can use those funds to make that one payment a year. The other payment will come out of the water or the sewer fund. This is sort of like my puzzle.
Okay, any questions on page 10? Okay, next page, enterprise fund should be page 11.
This is the water fund.
Yes, water fund.
Yep.
Under salary new administrator, or the administrator, that's the portion there, that's new, and that was the third of, our village administrator. Towards the bottom, there's some training, again, that was a new opportunity that I think that he wanted to have available, for the folks out there, is that correct,
Correct.
Wendy?
Mhm. The mileage reimbursement is a little, it's not new, we've just not used it before. But we're gonna be reimbursing some mileage to our village administrator who chooses to use his own vehicle.
And towards the bottom, I noticed the contractual services. Is there anything there specifically we should identify what
Well,
that amount
if you
is?
look like the generators, there's now 4 generators instead
Right,
of 2,
okay.
so that wage will be going up. The IMGIS is increasing, so yeah, just a couple smaller things, but Better be safe than sorry.
Gotcha. Any other questions on 11?
For uniforms, or these for the police uniforms?
No, these are water and sewer, these are the
Water and
utility guys.
Gotcha.
And we provide that for all of
We do.
them out there.
Do we provide a cleaning service for them? No, or
Yes.
we do,
So
so,
does.
gotcha.
Okay, page 12 of the next one would be, top of it says repairs and maintenance.
So that building and other structures is, we started it probably 3-4 years ago, putting a placeholder in there for the water plant expansion. If you looked at what our new village administrator submitted, he's looking at possibly right around $1.5 million in increasing the water flow that we have. That would be coming out of there because it's infrastructure. And then, of course, like I told Zeke, the capital outlay is my bucket at the end where once I've appropriated everything, that's just my carry-all, catch-all. So if we need to transfer any money throughout the water fund, it would come out of the capital outlay account. In capital outlay, you can only buy brand new things.
And this was, I do see the new is the solicitor fees on this one. That was a new line item, right?
It's not new, it's just we didn't spend anything out of it
Gotcha,
last year.
okay.
If we would end up having to have something that we would need bill for on that, we would use it.
Any other questions on page 12? Okay, page 13, still the sewer fund. Again, any issues, questions that we have as we go forward on this?
I see that I left out training. I'm gonna need to add a training line on this one, on the sewer.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just gonna put 4,000 in it like I did on the water side. So that will reduce your, capital outlay by 4,000.
And much of these items are gonna be much, very similar to the water side of that,
Correct.
right? So
Correct.
equal side off and on, okay.
Yep.
Any question on page 13? Okay. I have the final page as page 14. This is the end that we have here.
So you'll see that we have a new sewer plant payment, principal and interest. This will be our first year actually making a payment out of the sewer fund for that.
Is that the digester and the sewer plant, both of those down towards the bottom?
Yes,
what
the
you're referencing?
digester is a separate project
Okay.
from the sewer plant.
The only two things that I stood on, I think I asked about, was the other capital outlay. You know, brief description as to that increase there, was that? where
That's
you-
my extra bucket.
That's what I want to make sure,
Yep.
okay. And then the other one with the utility distribution center, the sewer plant, that went down significantly from what we had from last year. What was,
So that was OWDA money. We had a loan. There's still a little bit left on there to finish the sewer plant project, but I have to show the money coming in and the money being expensed through my budget. Even though I'm not collecting that money, it's going right to the contractor, I still have to show the money. So as of last year, we had 2.2 million that we sent to the contractor. Right now, I put a budget of $1 million in there to finish out the project. And then your garbage operating is the final one, and that's just an in and out.
right. Okay. That's what we have here. Is there anything other than this, the budget sheets here that we need to discuss? Anything that we missed that we need to consider? Okay.
I don't think so.
I-
Just in my, park, the things that I gave you were, you know, we wanna get some cameras, we wanna get updated cameras around the building, we wanna update the cameras around the police garage. The people that we already use gave Wendy a quote today. The other quote I have, is from Dion, who does ours, and it's, I think his equal to almost 7,000, so it's substantially higher.
They look,
There's two. The 5 was only for the cameras here. There was enough.
So I have this one,
That's the one from
Yeah.
who does them
and it
now.
says 5630,
Yeah,
and this one total is 5774.
but that's only, I asked him for the meeting,
Okay,
that's only for the ones around the building.
okay.
The one, which should have been in the packet,
It's only- it's not a
was
camera.
like,
Okay, it doesn't. Okay.
It has no cameras on it.
Gotcha.
was like $3,900
Which
or
one doesn't
something.
have cameras?
The VPN.
Because they're already here.
Oh,
It's
It's just
using the same-
upgrading our
so
system.
these are two different projects, and is what you're saying. So
Same
this is for
project.
this building
No.
and this one? Oh,
They're,
okay.
well, they're, yes, his quote, he gave me two quotes, cause first he only gave me around the garage.
Okay.
They're like, oh, I didn't know that Wendy was working on one for here.
Gotcha.
So I said, well, give me another one for that. So
Okay.
those two combined with Dion's was like the 600 or whatever was for the building. The one for the garage was like 3,900, you know what I told you.
Something like that. So
Yeah.
the one that we have from the current one, yes, they installed 2 cameras over at the garage as well. There's a setup over there, but it's never been hooked up, so they're going to hopefully hook those 2 cameras up over at the garage to my screen here.
But there's only gonna be 2 cameras?
No, we have 10 cameras around
Here.
this building.
How about at the garage?
I think at the garage, I think there's 2 or 3.
And are they high resolution? 'Cause,
I think
I mean,
Dion
I
had
guess the
4
question we're
on
looking
there.
for is, can we see license plates, can we see
Right.
faces? I mean, I just
You
don't wanna.
can on the cameras that I have here, yes, and they're the exact same cameras that are over there.
They were just never connected over there.
They were connected, but they were connected to a system inside the garage that I
Oh,
don't think
and-
anybody ever looked at. We want them connected here.
Got it.
Okay, so this then is for,
That's for upgrading our system that we have here with the company that installed it all.
with all
so
the-
we're gonna upgrade the ones here, but not the
Yes,
ones over
We're
there.
gonna get those to hook to this one as well,
They never.
is what they're
They're
telling
gonna
me.
be tied to this.
So they're
system.
gonna
Yeah, no, I
They're
get that,
gonna
but when
be
we
the
were,
same
when you
cameras
just asked
That they
about,
have over there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, the
I
question
mean, right? Am I
They're gonna-
am I
No,
missing it? So, okay, so when, I guess my question is, Jay just asked about the resolution and the whatever, and you said it's great, but then we're upgrading the cameras here, why are we
We're
upgrading
not
the?
upgrading the cameras, we're upgrading the system.
Oh, the,
houses
so, okay,
the
okay, so
cameras.
not the cameras,
No,
just like
the
the,
I thought it was
recording
okay,
different.
that's why I was like, wait, I,
But
Yeah,
this,
here's-
this quote would be for
Just did it.
replacing and upgrading the cameras, right?
Only
Yeah,
For,
from
only
Dion.
for here.
okay.
This is the one he gave me, and that should have been in your packet,
It wasn't.
for
This one, yeah, it is,
39, yeah.
It was-
nutter,
this is
nut
half
butter,
No,
No.
I'm talking about the other one from Dion. This is
Yeah.
one for,
There should be 2 of these from this guy.
Right.
oh, I
Where's it
don't
at?
have, I don't
Where's it
have
at?
two,
Yeah,
yeah,
it should
I
be.
have
Pick it
one.
up.
no,
I think I missed it.
So-
pass it around.
Yeah, so, okay, so, but for this quote, this would be upgrading the actual physical
Yes.
cameras themselves.
Yes.
So that's the decision we have to make, is do we wanna
Yes.
upgrade,
Great
or
cameras,
do we
or are
wanna
we
connect?
upgrading the system?
Yes.
Yeah,
The other thing
Okay.
we might wanna look at is all the exclusions here. On this one, we're excluding cameras, we're talking about any runs of cables, we're talking about return trips if there's a problem.
Well, and this one's a lot more, correct? The people we have now? Cause they're
No,
saying
well-
this much and this.
no, she's saying
No.
this much and that much, so like these two
To
totals.
upgrade
Together.
all the
Yeah.
cameras.
To upgrade everything.
And the system.
And the system.
And that includes the ones over there.
Yes, those two
Okay.
together
And put, how many
And
cameras?
this one
is just to
is just to do the
system,
system,
yes.
not all the cameras. Okay,
We don't have to-
so,
Alright, we're running, we're
Last
running
thing I wanna
close.
do real
Okay.
quick is, I gave you guys all the, for None Better,
Yes,
um,
I must have left it.
yeah, I left it out.
Yeah.
that was.
I've been using the system, he kinda made it for me to kinda try it out.
Mhm.
And, you know, for people signing up for farmers markets, food trucks, whatever. And it does streamline things very easily. They can upload their waivers, so instead of me having to print everything out and taking it to, the principal here at Scioto, I could just email him all of those. And I could,
With that, I am going to exit the room because that is my son's business. So I don't wanna be in here when you're discussing it.
okay. And, you can, it creates a map, so it will create like a number for them to go, whereas, you know, these two, I'm just here on paper doing it. So it does make things easier. I know we gave a discount on us, it's like 400 to have both events. He even actually added parades on there if I ever.
So basically it's just $400.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I think.
Per event?
I think for
No,
the
for
for
the year?
for the
Yes.
entire year. I think for the
Yes.
nominal fee
Might as
that
well
it is
just
and
do
what
it.
we have, I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
that.
I mean, yeah,
Okay.
do it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good
Okay.
job.
All right. Unless there's anything we have in the last couple minutes, do I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Everyone?
Aye.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, anyone? Okay.
Thank you,
Aye.
everyone.
Thank you.